The sole purpose of this channel is to bring to light events and situations that the Trump administration is responsible for, either directly or indirectly. It is our viewpoint that Trump and his cronies have done more damage, either directly or indirectly, to this country than any other president in the history of the United States, and that he must be stopped. To that end, we hope you will support this channel and help us see this tyrant removed from office. USA disgrace. At this point, anybody who believes that the current gangster-in-chief of the United States is not guilty of multiple crimes, should go to work at Disneyland. Daily fantasies are lived out in that magical kingdom, and you should fit in nicely. Moving on. If we lived in a country that had some form of justice. Oh, I don't know. Say. A Department of Justice maybe. That. Say. Oh, I don't know. Protected the general public from bad or corrupt people. They would be grabbing Republican senators by the collar and ripping them right out of their seats. It's bad enough that some of these sons of bitches won't even do their job, and are still getting paid, but now they are being complicit in a cover-up for the president, who is, obviously by now, synonymous with corruption. I hope these senators have thought about what this means as far as the legacy that they are leaving, particularly in regard to the stigma that their family, and their families to come, will have to endure. History will not be kind to these people as all of the misdeeds perpetrated by this administration come to light, as they always do. I suspect there will also be legal consequences for the actions of some senators, or should I say accomplices, including prison time. The Ukraine scandal has not only brought to light what a gangster we have in the White House, but also revealed an unbelievable new low for Republican senators. Complicity with an out-of-control president. President Trump allegedly sought to have Ukraine start an investigation into the Bidens, former Vice President Joe Biden, and his son, Hunter, in exchange for what was originally thought to be only military aid, but has since been claimed to be for all aid going to Ukraine. Trump has staunchly denied these accusations, even as an avalanche of evidence has mounted proving beyond a shadow of a doubt otherwise. The latest of the snowslides of evidence to surface, comes from Lev Parnas, a Soviet-born, Florida businessman who at the time was working with Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to get then U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, removed from her post. The successful campaign against Yovanovitch is central to the impeachment case against Trump. About 4 months ago, Parnas and another man were arrested trying to flee the country. Parnas has since produced evidence, after more evidence that he interacted with, and did Trump's bidding in Ukraine. Trump has categorically denied that he even remotely knows Parnas. However, as Trump denies any knowledge of Parnas, Parnas keeps producing more evidence to the contrary, evidence that seems to prove beyond a doubt that the president knows Parnas, and knows him quite well. Parnas has even posted pictures and statements on Facebook documenting his interactions with Trump, and has said that the president actually pulled him aside in a White House meeting and personally directed his activities in Ukraine. The latest evidence that Parnas has released is a tape recording of him, Parnas, with Trump at the Trump Hotel in Washington, mid-year 2018. In that recording, as unbelievable as it sounds, it appears as though Trump is ordering Parnas to take out then U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch. Keep in mind that Parnas has no official capacity in any way, shape, or form with the United States government. Not that this is as big an issue as the President of the United States ordering a United States ambassador being taken out. Couple this with the fact that Parnas also produced documentation for the House Intelligence Committee showing communications he had with a Connecticut congressional candidate, which had the undertones of possibly carrying out violence in regard to United States Ambassador Jovanovic, stating, in part, they are willing to help if you. We would like a price. Guess you can do anything in the Ukraine with money. By now it's perfectly obvious even to a blind man that Trump did in fact know and interact with Parnas, even though Trump is downplaying Parnas as a con man or groupie that just shows up at fundraisers. Trump further echoed that Parnas might have contributed to the campaign, and quite possibly had his picture taken with the president, but still maintains that he doesn't know Parnas. The word Trump and corruption seem to go hand in hand, as his very interaction with Parnas, who has been charged as an unregistered foreign agent, is evidence of such corruption. Being an unregistered lobbyist, with financial ties in the country, and contributing to Trump's campaign, is in itself corruption, with a capital C. Add to that the fact that this same person was fully involved in removing the United States ambassador of that country, where that same person Trump denies knowing had a financial interest, and you have the workings of a major scandal. Add to this the fact that U.S. Ambassador to the European Union Gordon Sondland has provided first-hand evidence, as he testified under subpoena, that there was a quid pro quo, no two ways about it. Sondland made it perfectly clear that the majority of Trump's administration knew exactly what was going on with the campaign to get Ukraine to start the investigation into the Bidens, thereby implicating countless members of Trump's cronies in this conspiracy as well. Every one of these members of our government should be held accountable and charged accordingly in this conspiracy. As if more fuel needed to be added to the fire, former Special U.S. Envoy to Ukraine Kurt Volker turned over explosive text messages showing how State Department officials coordinated with Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, to leverage a potential meeting between Trump and his Ukrainian counterpart for a promise that the Ukrainians would pursue an investigation that might benefit Trump's re-election campaign. Would you not think that this would be the final straw that would force these Republican senators to oust the crime boss that currently occupies the White House? Would you not think that those very senators would be worried about the future of this country, with a crime syndicate in place that cares about nothing but lining their very own pockets at the expense of the American people? Call your Republican senators and demand Trump be held accountable for his actions. Demand that he be removed from office for the sake of your country. It is the opinion of this channel that Donald J. Trump is chipping away at our Constitution bit by bit, as he wields the power of the presidency as he wishes for his personal gain and favor. As his Republican senators become accomplices to this abuse of power, our Constitution is further demoralized. Our Constitution has, for over 200 years, led us in being a decent, safe, and moral country to live in, as compared to other countries. We are all free to walk our sidewalks and travel to any area we wish. We are free to live where we want to, as well as work where we desire. We are all free to vote as we wish. Trump has publicly invited foreign interference in our election systems time after time, so that he can be re-elected. This is nothing short of taking away our voting rights, and dictating to the American public who is going to be in charge of our country. This is nothing short of a dictator shoving their will down the throats of the American people. Ask yourself this. If we allowed Donald Trump, or any other president for that matter, to take away our voting rights and essentially tell us what was going to happen in our country, like it or not, do you think for 1 minute that gangster-in-chief would stop with just taking away our voting rights? Not for a second. That person would continue to take away more and more of the freedoms that we enjoy in our country. That person would continue until they had unbridled power to do as they wished with a wave of their hand, and nobody would dare to question them, much like our Republican senators are doing at this very moment. Remember, those Republican senators work for us. We are the ones who voted them into office. We are the ones that they should be looking out for and protecting. Representative Adam Schiff made an emotional plea during arguments in Trump's impeachment trial, stating, "If the truth doesn't matter, we're lost. The framers couldn't protect us from ourselves, if right and truth don't matter. And you know that what he did was not right. Right matters. And the truth matters. Otherwise, we are lost," he repeated. "If right doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how good the Constitution is," Representative Schiff told the Senate. "The framers could not protect us from ourselves if right and truth don't matter. And you know what Trump did was not right." This channel asks you to think about whether the truth matters to you. Not just in regard to this impeachment trial, but in regard to every aspect of your lives. From the interactions your children have with others, to your interactions with others, to your interactions with government. If the truth doesn't matter anymore, we are headed to a country that is ruled in the same manner as North Korea or Russia is. By a dictator who determines all that happens. All that is right or wrong, and determines the fate of all that oppose him. All of the freedoms that we have in this country will be in danger of going away as Trump and his cronies keep chipping away at our Constitution. Who, at this point in this administration, thinks that the Trump administration cares about anybody but themselves? Who, at this point in this administration, thinks that there is nothing that this administration won't do to stay in power? As criminal organizations do, they have already started turning on each other. Do you think for 1 minute that they won't turn on you or me? At every turn, Trump and his administration have tried to stymie congressional investigators in their bids to pry loose documents and information. They've also blocked numerous people from testifying, and even gone to court to defend their corruption campaign. Ask yourself this. If the person is innocent, why would they not want all of the witnesses they could possibly get to prove their innocence? There can be only one answer to that question. They are guilty as sin. Remember September 2001. One of the flights hijacked that day was Flight 93. The target for that plane was the White House. That plane never made it to the White House. Because ordinary citizens, people just like you and me, had the courage to give their lives to down a plane headed for mass tragedy. Is it not inconceivable that elected Republicans, people who answer to us, the public, servants who were elected by us, the people, cannot summon the courage to challenge an out-of-control president? Can you imagine the damage that would have been experienced, and the loss of life that would have been tragically felt, if Flight 93 had been filled with our current Republican senators? Republican senators, ask yourself this. How much damage will your president do to the future of this country, if he is not stopped? The very country that your kids and grandkids will have to live in because you chose not to stop this madness before it was too late. We hope you enjoyed this video and that you appreciate our efforts to stop Trump and his cronies before they do any more damage. Please don't forget to click subscribe, hit the golden bell icon, and make sure you have notifications enabled on your account. To enable notifications, simply search "How to enable notifications" on my YouTube account. USA Disgrace.